Well, before starting with the video, a brief introduction. I am DS, a regular guy with a serious case of sudden motivation. Today's kick, building my own Neovim plugin from scratch instead of using someone else's. Why use a plugin when I can build the plugin? Short disclaimer, this is not a tutorial. If you came to actually learn something useful, run. This is just me coding, struggling and hopefully entertaining you in the process. So grab some popcorn, sit back and enjoy the chaos. Before diving into today's coding session, here is what I'm working on. In editors like VS Code, if you have used any, when an LSP loads, it shows progress of what it's doing. For example, indexing this many files out of this many files. So you have an idea when it's ready. But in Neovim, there is no clear sign unless you test it yourself. So I'm creating my own LSP Progress Tracker in Neovim. And yes, there is already a plugin called Fidget, but I'm motivated enough to build it myself and hopefully learn along the way. Well, apparently I started this project yesterday and forgot to hit the record button. And I already wrote this code which is responsible for kind of telling my LSP or my progress tracker about what is happening in the background. So here we have a local table M, which will contain our LSP progress setup function. Apparently this function will be sent to init file to be called. This function initiates a global LSP progress table, which will be containing all our LSP related data. After doing a bunch of research from ChatGPT, I got to know that LSP has this public API called handlers, which is a table which holds the key $progress, which is associated with a function which will be called whenever the LSP is doing something new. Apparently this will contain all the data I need to make this plugin. Apparently this result holds the LSP related data. So I'll be checking if the result is present and if the value inside result, which is another table, is present, and the context itself is present, which holds our client ID. If any of them are missing or any of them is missing, then Vim will notify the user about what kind of error has been happening. Then, if all the values are available, we will check if the kind field inside the value nested table is available, and if it's available, if it matches with this value called end. If yes, then that means our job is done. Then we will be sending the status to in our LSP progress global table without worrying about what kind of messages the job had. Else, what we will be doing is we will be setting the status to false, and now we will be calculating or evaluating the job nested table, which is another nested table inside our LSP progress table. This job will be holding the title of the job, for example, indexing, the message of the job, for example, this many files out of this many files, and progress, 100% or 50%. That's it. Now, if you have noticed, I already have this no LSP status available in my lower line status bar. That's because I wrote this code yesterday and I forgot to record. So please deal with it. So let me explain that for you. First, I'll be getting the active clients in the current buffer. For that, I'll be using the buff get clients method, which returns a table. Apparently, this table acts like an array, so we can use ipairs function in that table. And we are safe to use hash buff clients to get the length of the array or table. If it's 0, that means there is no active client, an active LSP client available in the current buffer. Apparently, our global LSP progress table will contain all the LSP related data that we don't need. I meant to say that it may have LSPs that are not active in our current buffer but in some other buffer. For that, we need to filter out our current buffer clients. To store the details, or let's say formatted details of those LSPs in our current buffer, we will need another local table, clients array. And as I've said earlier, that the buff clients acts like an array, we can use our ipairs function to loop through it. Apparently, it returns an iterator which contains the pair index and client. We can ignore the index. Now we will be checking if the global LSP progress table contains our client by using our client.id. If it's not nil, then based on different conditions, like if our status or job completion status is true, we may use the tick symbol. I mean, I'm using the tick symbol. You can format it in any way you want. After the creation of our formatted string, we will be storing it in our client's array table, where the key would be the client ID or the LSP client ID, and the value would be the formatted string. Well, now at this point, I wasn't sure whether the concat method would work on a table where the indexes may not be in sorted order. That means the client IDs may be some random numbers. That's why what I did was I created another table called Dual-Line LSP Progress. And here, instead of assigning all those LSP details by using their IDs, what I did was I used the insert method to insert all the formatted strings inside the Dual-Line LSP Progress table. Now here I could have done better by using this method or insert method directly on the client's array. Well, here I got to know that my screen recorder does not record any window other than my Neovim window. Well, that's weird. So I just lost the recording of my plugin working for the first time. No worries. Later in the video, I'll be showing you the final result. After fixing the mistake I did, the plugin is working correctly, but it's not quite visibly appealing. So let's use a cleaner format logic. So here, for the safety purpose, so that my logic does not show nil value at any cost, I've decided to use this format. If the title is not present, it will be replaced by question mark. So at least I can know that, yes, something is happening behind the scene, which is not logged. Then if any of the other details like message or progress is not present, it will be replaced by a blank space or a null string, you can say, or literally nothing. Now, if they are present, then they will be displayed into a format like wrapped by parentheses. You know what? Instead of showing the question mark operator, let's use loading string so that at least there is a semantic meaning behind our messages. Now that everything is done, let's test this plugin if it's working or not. Now here, Rust Analyzer is taking its time to get loaded, and it's ready. Let's see if everything is available. Yep, the suggestions are here. And let's test the go to definition feature also. Yep, it's working. Wow, you actually made it to the end. That's concerning. Anyway, drop your thoughts in the comment if you feel like it. Like, subscribe, or don't. I'm still going to post another one of these anyway. See you or not. Bye.